Hey guys, back here. Um, just got done installing the cam bearings. I wanted to show this because I've seen a lot of cam bearing installs that were pretty questionable. So in case you're wondering, how a cam should turn in your engine after you install bearings or even after you get a new cam. This is basically how you should be able to turn it. You should be able to do this by hand with your old timing gear. You can use different ways of turning it, but basically, you see how easy I'm able to just spin that? It can be a little bit tighter than that, but not much. You don't want a whole lot of drag on those journals. So that's why I was talking about the cam bearing install tool guide being so important, because that's what ensures that the bearings are straight when they go in. By far the hardest one to do is the front bearing the way I do it. That's because I have a lot of experience at putting them in. Most people would take it off of the engine stand, hang it up in the air on the cherry picker, and they would install the front bearing through the back and use the guide on the tool. That technically is the correct way to do it. But personally, some motors you really can't install them coming in from the back because the cam bearing install tool it will not, it doesn't allow it to come up flush to the journal when you're pressing in the bearing. And there's nothing like getting your bearing halfway in and realizing you can't go any farther with the tools that you have. So that's why I mainly do it from the front. Some engines you can do it, some engines you can't. It's just really important to make sure they're straight when you're going in. You get that right, and you have the right cam bearings going in the right journals, because most engines don't have the same size for every journal. That's why on the cam bearing box will show you 2 and 5 are the same size, and 3 and 4 are the same size, and then one's different because it has 2 oil holes. One's for the fuel pump rod and fuel pump eccentric, whatever you want to call it. And then the other one is for obviously the cam journal itself. But yeah, as long as you get all that right, and your cam turns like this, real easy by hand, no issues, you're good to go. You shouldn't have any issues. It's just one of the steps along the way. Okay, I'm going to get back to putting in these main bearings and seeing how the crankshaft turns, making sure it's all right. Another tip is I made sure to do the cam first. It's just so much easier than having the rods, crankshaft in the way when you're trying to work with the cam bearings. You really need to have it all the way down to nothing. So I always do camshaft first. That's just something I learned at an early age, that deal with the very center of the block first and then work your way out. The other thing that I do is on a small block Chevy, they have these press-in oil galley plugs in the front, and you can take a 1/4-inch NPT tap, National Pipe Thread tap, and it's really easy to tap these front oil galley holes for screw-in plugs to get rid of the press-in plugs, and then you don't have to worry about them ever blowing out or any issues. Don't tap them too deep. If you do, you can block off oil passages, so just tap it so that the plug goes in just deep enough to clear the timing set. You'll see its block's been ground on here just a little bit. That is in case I decide to put a double roller timing set on it down the road. If I go hydraulic roller or whatever, that clearance is for the back of the timing gear. So you'll see some small block Chevys with that ground on it, and that's why. Some of them have to have that. I do it to all of them because, well, I just, once it's together in the vehicle, I don't want to deal with it later. Trying to clean metal out of the motor is not fun. So, yeah, I just do it now. Anyways, just part of the process. Thought I'd show you guys. All right, I'll be back.